Can't be doing that. Hi everyone, let's talk about Lil Uzi Vert. Again, a week after releasing one of the most highly anticipated rap albums of 2020, Lil Uzi Vert follows up Eternal Atake with Eternal Atake Deluxe. However, this is a little bit different because it is not just marketed as Eternal Atake Deluxe, but a follow-up to one of his mixtapes, Lil Uzi Vert vs. the World, aptly titled Lil Uzi Vert vs. the World 2. I did review Eternal Atake on this channel. You can go check that review out. I'll leave a link in the description. I'll put it up in the card over there. However, I will sum up my album review briefly. I thought overall Eternal Atake was bloated, long-winded. It felt very generic. Lil Uzi Vert's character and style didn't really come in on that album all that much, and I don't think the production of that album complemented his vocals or his rapping all that well. It got tiresome, it got tedious, it got monotonous. Overall, I thought it was a pretty run-of-the-mill, generic trap album that I thought was being glorified because it was a really highly anticipated project. Now we have the deluxe version of that album, an album that Lil Uzi Vert was quick to follow up on, stating that he had quite a few songs that were leftovers, and I say that loosely, that were leftovers from the Eternal Atake sessions. 14 tracks, numerous features, just about 40 minutes total. It is attached to Eternal Atake, so it is technically a 2-disc album. I am going to be just talking about the first disc entirely, because I don't really think these two albums play together all that much. It definitely feels like one album is just attached to another album. But before I get ahead of myself, again, 14 tracks, about 40 minutes, featuring numerous artists ranging from Young Thug to 21 Savage, as well as Young Nudy and Lil Durk. We also have a NAV feature as well, and Chief Keef and Future show up for a track. Going into this album, I did not really anticipate to like it all that much. I thought it was going to be an extension of what Eternal Atake was. However, I gotta say, this is a perfect runtime for an album of this caliber. What I mean by that is that it's quality over quantity. Because for about 40 minutes or so, you are getting tracks that definitely live up to Lil Uzi Vert's style, Lil Uzi Vert's character. Tracks like MYRON or Bean or WASSUP definitely play into his strengths production-wise as well. Lyrics that focus more on catchiness and hookiness but not going to the point of annoyance. This deluxe version of Eternal Atake is probably the most consistent project that Lil Uzi Vert has dropped. If that spoils anything, I think this is a really interesting, dynamic, and enjoyable record. It does have its shortcomings, however, and I do want to point that out at the beginning of this review. The middle portion of this record can be a little bit of a slog, starting with the track Strawberry Peels, which has momentum. It has a nice, funny catchiness and kind of kitschiness to it. But it ends so abruptly, I wanted to hear more of it. Also, Gunna's verse on this track, not that good. It's not that good. The song I Can Show You, Moon Relate, and Come This Way all really feel like Eternal Atake B-sides. However, the stronger elements of this album, I think, balance more in their favor rather than on the negatives. For one, I think the features on this album are consistently good for the exception of Gunna. Yes, even for the song Money Spread, which features Young Nudy, which I think he delivers a very solid set of bars on this song. This instrumental does complement Young Nudy more than it complements Lil Uzi, however. That's another problem this album has, is that it sometimes complements the featured artist rather than Lil Uzi himself. But there are songs that balance out the psychedelic vibe that maybe a Future would bring onto his albums, but it's countered with Lil Uzi, who kind of has a similar style, making the track WASSUP like a top 10 Lil Uzi Vert song. At least it's one of his better hooks, no doubt. It's so fun just to sing along to. It easily is the best song on here. I'm not saying this as a prediction or anything, but I can totally see the song being a TikTok meme. It's just that ear grabbing. As well as the track with 21 Savage, YESSIRSKIII. 21 Savage sounds really good on this instrumental, and the track with Lil Durk, No Auto, Lil Durk just went ham, didn't he? And I cannot believe I am saying this, but the song featuring Nav, which is the last track on this album. I was expecting to hate this, and it's enjoyable. It really is. I'm not saying it's a lyrical miracle by any means, and I'm not saying that Nav doesn't sound like an auto-tuned robot, but I mean, he comes through with a little bit of a dynamic flow to his voice. It doesn't sound like he's monotone throughout an entire song, an instrumental that also complements him as well as Lil Uzi. I don't know how. I don't know how. It gives me hope that Nav can pull through on a next project, but I honestly don't know. I just feel like Nav might work better in other albums than on his own, but I'm not talking about Nav because I am talking about Lil Uzi Vert himself. I was just so surprised that Lil Uzi Vert cracked the code or hacked into the mainframe of Nav's mind and managed to do something with it to make him sound more alive. Because this song features probably one of his best verses I've heard in a long time. Throughout this entire project, I was constantly surprised by how consistent, well-produced, and way more engaging this album was than what Eternal Atake had, or Eternal Atake, whatever. Because even at 14 tracks long, this thing manages to feel kind of quick. Because it's engaging, it's fun, it's energetic. The instrumentals and the production matches Lil Uzi Vert's character style. This is the album that I wanted instead of Eternal Atake. This doesn't feel like your usual run-of-the-mill deluxe album. It feels like another separate beast on its own. It's an album I admire. It's an album that I appreciate. It's an album that I actually like. Even if it does have flaws, shortcomings, like the middle portion of this album, or maybe a little bit of Lotus, or maybe some other weird criticisms that I can throw in there. But other than that, I thought this album was pretty consistent, pretty quality, kind of top-notch in a way, making me hopeful for a Lil Uzi project in the future that I actually might enjoy more than this, because he comes through with a lot of character, a lot of style on this album, and he comes through with so much energy as well. All of these songs have a vibe, they have a nice feel to them, and they just feel so much more enhanced and engaging than what was on Eternal Atake. And they feel way more worked on. Like, this does not feel like it was rushed. It feels like it was mulled over for a while. I can add that the production is very important to a Lil Uzi Vert project because it basically holds him up. He has a good flow, and I like this flow on Eternal Atake, but it's something that is enhanced on this album because of the production. Quirky psychedelics that work their way into these trap hi-hats that feel like they're free-flowing on a lake of LSD. You're just vibing out to this album, and you're enjoying everything that's being done. I'll end off by saying that there have been some people kind of criticizing the lyrics. Yeah, they're questionable. However, I'm not going to sit here and kind of argue with an album like this because I'm not too entirely sure the lyrics are meant to be that serious. All I will say is, you know how to live your life morally. You shouldn't be listening to rap albums to dictate your life. They more or less represent another person's life. Obviously, people shouldn't hurt other people. People should obviously communicate with other people, etc., etc. To sum up this entire review up, this album is consistent, quality. Next to Eternal Atake, it does kind of bog it down because it doesn't feel necessary. I think this could have just been released as a separate project, because it is there. It's a quality album, but for what we have here and for everything that we have to offer, with moments that I'm just not head over heels for, this album is a very solid B. I'm impressed with this album. I enjoyed it. It's something that I look forward to maybe even enjoying a little bit more down the road. But what we have here is pretty consistent, and I like most of it. However, I am curious to know what are your thoughts and opinions on this album down below. Let me know what albums you want me to review next, and that is it. Leave a like, comment, share, do whatever you want. Let me know how I can improve future videos down below. Remember, this is only my opinion because music is subjective.